What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Team Fish Knuckles YouTube channel. Today is Saturday tournament, and in this Saturday tournament, we're actually playing the deck that got second place at that Arena Cup that I talked about on Thursday. And this is I know he's gonna hate me because I'm gonna mispronounce his name, and we've done interviews before. Fatih. I'm pretty sure that's how it's Fatih. I know I butchered it, and I know he's gonna be mad at me, but I'm sorry about that. But this is his deck that he got second place with. I was thinking about doing Toad Giratina just to cover how strong of a deck that is, but that is boring. Nobody wants to see Nobody wants to see Toad just punch people over and over again. That's not exciting at all. So this time around, we're gonna play the second place deck, the Yveltal Archeops deck, and a lot of stuff to go over, and hopefully we can cover it, and hopefully you don't get too bored about it. But let's start things off with Yveltal. Now, Yveltal has 130 HP. It has Oblivion Wing, 30 damage. Attach a Dark Energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, and Darkness Blade for 100. Flip a coin if tells this Pokemon can attack to your opponents during your next turn. So, Oblivion Wing for 30. So, when you Oblivion Wing, you usually would attach to Yveltal here. Now, to the Yveltal EX. Now, Yveltal EX has 170 HP. It has Evil Ball. It does 20 damage, and this attack does 20 more damage times the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. So it's kind of like Lugia we have now, except it does 20 base and then 20 more for each energy attached. I'm pretty sure Lugia right now is just 20 plus for each. And we also have Y-Cyclone, which does 90. Moving energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. Usually you want to do this to another bench Yveltal here. Now, that's pretty much your main attackers here, Yveltal and Yveltal EX. Your next big attacker is actually, sadly, Seismitoad. Quake Punch is just so strong of a card. I mean, you just can't get rid of it. I mean, it's just, well, you can't forget about it, actually. 30 damage, 30 points. 30 damage, and your opponent can't play the item cards from his or her hand, which is great. Now, next up is Darkrai. Now, Darkrai has the ability Dark Cloak. Each of your Pokemon that has any dark energy attached to it has no retreat cost. And if you notice, everybody pretty much has a dark energy attack. But with Dark Cloak, you're making it where you can free retreat between anybody you want to, which is great. And also, you can use Night Spear, 90 and 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Of course, you know, depending on the situation, you're playing against a Manectric deck, against a maybe a Night March deck. Anything that hits for lightning weakness, you can attack with Dark Arrow, which is great here. And that's really your main attackers in here. Now, next up, we have Absol. And the Absol is a really good deck against people who put a lot of bench Pokemon down. Mind Jack does 20, and then 20 more damage for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. If they have 8 on there, you do 180. Yeah, 180, and without muscle bands or anything. If they have 7, you do 160 with the muscle band, 180, which is pretty cool there. So if they do fill the bench up, you can Mind Jack them and punish them for that way. We do play one Shaman here for setup, and we do play one Jirachi for Stellar Guidance, search deck for a supporter card. And I really do like this idea. I know a lot of people still don't like this at all, but with the Ultra Ball, depending on the situation, you could grab Jirachi, you could grab Shaman, just depends what was in your hand. Next up is Keldeo. Keldeo has a rush in here. Basically, if somebody's asleep, poisoned, or you need to switch between attackers, you can rush in and retreat if there's a Floodstone on it, or Dark Energy, either way. Now, that's all your real Pokemon, the regular Pokemon at Yveltal. Now, next up, we have Archeops. Now, Archeops is, I guess, a weird tech card that's really good. It's a really, really good card. Now, Archeops is a fighting Pokemon. It evolves from Archon. You're like, okay, Squeaky, who cares? You can't use Archeops. But we'll go over that in a second, how you can use Archeops. Archeops has the ability Ancient Power. Each player can't play any Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon. Now, that's great. There's some Megas can evolve now. Stage 1, Stage 2s can't come down. So if you get a turn with Archeops, you know, you stop the Fortress decks, you stop the Vileplume decks, you stop the Executor decks, you stop all those Evolutions decks because of Ancient Power, which is great. You also stop the Golbats and Crobats and Garbodors and all that shenanigans because you have Ancient Power on, which is great here. So depending on the deck, you might not need Archeops. For the most time, you can just get it out just in case if you need to. If it is turn 1, so that's the deck here, or that's all the Pokemon here. A lot of different techie cards, Shaman, Archeops, Jirachi, Keldeo, you name it, the techs are in here for today. Next up is 3 Acrobikes, and this is to help you get a turn 1 Archeops here, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 in your hand, discard the other card. 3 Battle Compressor, discard 3 cards out of your deck. You can see it's kind of like an Archie Stories kind of list. 1 Computer Search for any card in your deck. 3 Dark Patch, which is kind of like the Oblivion Wing we just talked about with the Yveltal here. But it's an item card. You can attach a basic Dark Energy from your discard pile to 1 of your bench Pokemon. Now, one thing you can do with this deck is you can rush in a Keldeo, and maybe there's an Yveltal EX in the active spot, and there's a Keldeo on the bench. You rush in, and then you can start Dark Patch, and then you can start Dark Patch into the bench Yveltal, retreat because you just rushed in, which doesn't count as switching, and then start attacking with Yveltal out of nowhere. Still a Dark Patch. I mean, you have a lot of potential to all of a sudden do a lot of damage with the Dark Patch, which is great tier. 2 Professor Letter, just like I said, help you get a turn 1 Archeops easier. Search deck for 2 basic energy cards, put them in your hand, and as well you can't Ultra Ball away 2 Dark Energies to get something out and Dark Patch those energies back. Or Trainer's Mail, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, reveal a trainer card and put it in your hand. Or Ultra Ball just to get Pokemon, 4 VR Signatures or Supporters, 1 Chorus, 2 Lysander, which 2 Lysander is always good in about everything nowadays. And 1 Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. Now in Archie Stories, we know that they played Blastoise. They played Archie's get a Blastoise. But Maxie's gets you fighting Pokemon, so you can actually Maxie's out Archeops and make it where they can evolve. And that's how we're going to use Archeops turn 1. 1 in, 2 Juniper. Now, this is really weird. I mean, only 2 Juniper, but, I mean, hey, it did well. You got 2nd place with it. You can always Battle Compressor and discard a Juniper early because you do play 4 Verse Seekers. 2 Faded Town. At any time between turns, put 2 damage counters on each Mega Evolution Pokemon, which is pretty strong there. If they keep it if they don't discard it, you know, you do 40 damage. And most EX Pokemon or most Megas go down to 180 or lower. Besides the Primals, they go down to 200, which is great for you. That's easier to knock out with the Yveltals. And it's just a really good card overall. If you notice, this list doesn't play lasers or Verbanks. He opted to go with the Faded Town instead of lasers. I guess for more room, and I guess it helps to determine Archeops even more. 2 Float Stones, we talked about it the whole time. Gives free retreat to Keldeos for the most part, but it gives free retreat to anybody when it's attached to it. 3 Muscle Bands, so you do 20 more damage to the active Pokemon. 4 DC and 6 Dark Energies, and that's the deck here. I know we've done a cover of this deck before, but that was with Chase Maloney, and his list was totally different. I mean, like I said, he played the lasers and Burbanks, but hopefully you enjoyed this deck. I mean, it's a really consistent deck. There's a reason why he got 2nd place with it. I'm not sure who he all beat, but down below, if you want to learn more about the top 8 decks like the other videos, there'll be a link down below to 6 cards so you can see all the decks that did great at the Arena Cup. Make sure you check it out. If you're testing for regionals, make sure you read that list. That is a very important list to check out. But hope you enjoy this deck. Hope you enjoy the 3 videos that come after this. So there's a round 1, round 2, round 3. Make sure you check them all out. They're pretty exciting. But I hope you have a great day. Alrighty. Bye.